Welcome to this special report. Today is April 15th, 2026, and the world is watching the Middle East as the conflict involving the United States, Israel, and Iran reaches a critical boiling point. The 2026 Iran war, which began on February 28th with U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear and military facilities, has entered a new and highly volatile phase. While a fragile two-week ceasefire remains in place until April 22nd, the economic and geopolitical stakes have never been higher. Over the weekend, historic face-to-face peace talks between the U.S. and Iran took place in Islamabad, Pakistan. However, after 21 hours of negotiations, the talks collapsed without an agreement. Both sides blamed each other, with Iranian officials accusing the U.S. of shifting goalposts, while U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance stated that Iran refused to accept American terms regarding the removal of nuclear material. Despite the breakdown, there are reports that a second round of talks may be proposed in Islamabad or Geneva in the coming days. Following the failed talks, the Trump administration took decisive action. On Monday, April 13th, the U.S. military initiated a full naval blockade of all Iranian ports and coastal areas. By today, April 15th, U.S. Central Command declared the blockade fully implemented. More than 10,000 U.S. military personnel and 16 warships, including the USS Abraham Lincoln, are enforcing the blockade. CENTCOM reports that economic trade entering and leaving Iran by sea has been completely halted, effectively choking off 90% of Iran's seaborne trade. Several merchant ships and oil tankers have already been intercepted and forced to turn around. Iran's response has been defiant and threatening. The Iranian military has warned that any miscalculated move by the U.S. will trap them in deadly whirlpools, and that any U.S. warships approaching the Strait of Hormuz will be dealt with severely. Furthermore, Iran is demanding $270 billion in compensation for war damages from 5 regional countries they accuse of aiding the U.S. and Israel. Iranian officials have also threatened to apply tariffs and transit charges for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz, using their control over the waterway as a strategic bargaining chip. The blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for global energy, has sent shockwaves through the world economy. Oil prices have surged past $100 per barrel. The International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and International Energy Agency have all warned of a prolonged oil shock, describing the situation as the greatest energy security challenge in history. The disruption is not only affecting energy markets but also global supply chains, from fertilizer costs for American farmers to global shipping routes. As the clock ticks toward the expiration of the ceasefire on April 22nd, the world waits to see if renewed diplomatic efforts can avert a broader regional conflict, or if the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will ignite a devastating escalation. The stakes could not be higher for Iran, for the United States, for the global economy, and for peace in the Middle East. Thank you for watching this special report on the 2026 Iran war and the Strait of Hormuz crisis.